For the past 10 years, I have felt the call to drastically change my life. This manifested as deep frustration and anxiety as I slowly worked out my path. All I knew was that if I followed the 9 to 5 crowd, I would lose my way. I knew the only way to save the planet and our species was to live self-sustainably and minimally. In 2018, I found myself locked into a toxic career and renting out an apartment by the river. That apartment flooded one spring day, and I lost most of my furniture and belongings as well as my home. This moment was monumental for me, and the irony of what appeared to be a devastating situation was exactly what my soul needed. I found a school bus for $2,500 on Craigslist and gave myself a budget of $10,000 to turn it into a tiny home. I worked on it for a year and a half, paycheck to paycheck. I had never used a power tool when I started, but little by little I found my way. In 2019, I met the love of my life, Perry, and he helped me pull through. We finished right as the pandemic swept the world in 2020, and I moved in as everything around us was locking down. I moved the bus to an apple orchard farm where I participated in a work exchange. I learned so much in my time there, but most importantly, it was the first time I was truly in tune with the seasons. By the end of 2020, Perry and I found our dream property where we have spent the last year building up a homestead from scratch.
I've always aspired to live a simple life, living off the land where your two hands can earn you sustenance and give you all the gratification you need. The ability to harvest the fruits of your labor and to sustain a family with nothing more than a strong back and a stronger will. It's always been a dream of mine. This land is where I spent most of my childhood. It's where I learned to shoot and hunt deer, squirrel, where I learned how to fish. My grandparents shared with me stories of their childhood, growing up on Homestead, living the old ways, sustainably. It's the ways that their elders taught them, and I want to be able to pass that along to my children, to afford them a better life than what I had.
So I decided to take a little hike on the property to see if I could find any antler sheds. Sure enough.
This bus is like our modern-day covered wagon. This chapter of our lives it's our new frontier.
Hey, Lissa,
Yes, sir?
how do you feel about being up here on the hill?
Excited.
Yeah? How excited?
So excited.
Why?
Because it's gonna be so fun.
This past spring was my first time starting seeds in a greenhouse, and the joy those little seedlings brought me each morning was indescribable. The summer brought our very first garden, and while we have big dreams of a huge market garden, our first season here was a humble learning experience as we had to haul all of our water from a nearby spring. Despite the odds, we had a great first year and learned all about canning and preserving as well.
Hauling water weekly has been quite a bit of a challenge, but it's something that we're going to have to do until we can afford to get a well put in.
It's so cold.
So a lot of you guys are wondering how we get the toad off of the truck after we fill it up. So we actually just take a hose and plug into it. We'll open the valve and let gravity do the rest.
It really is quite amazing to witness what happens when you bring water to a place. Mix in a bit of intention and love, and a beautiful masterpiece reveals itself as you and nature work together. Last summer was the most challenging one I've experienced yet. I spent every single day out in the garden, my mind hazed by the heat, planting seeds and hand-watering each one. It was incredibly overwhelming, but the amount of growth I experienced in this time was well worth it. There's something really special about caretaking a piece of land. The love you pour into it multiplies, leaving you surrounded by abundance and in a state of immense gratitude.
Being off-grid means we mainly cook over an open fire, but it's been some of the best food we've ever eaten. The smoke adds beautiful aromatic influences, and the caramelization achieved is second to none. It's been quite the experience cooking outdoors for over a year now. It's only made me a better cook. Each year we look forward to tapping select trees for sap that we boil down into syrup. We tap walnut, maple, and even sycamore. Our next big adventure is building a traditional hand-hewn log home. This is a tobacco barn that we purchased to build on our property.